This is a video tutorial showing you how to create a business logo in Keynotes. Hi everyone. For this tutorial we'll be using Keynotes, but the principles involved can be applied to any software. I just happen to have Keynotes and I find it great value for money and an easy software to use. I'm going to create a business logo around a flower shape. 3 very different designs, all stemming from the same basic shape. If you already know the basics, you can skip ahead to intermediate or advanced. So let's get started. First, we open Keynotes and choose a blank slide to work with. Simply remove the text boxes which automatically generate, as we won't be using them. Now from the top menu bar, click on Document and you'll notice the side view display will change. We're going to change slide size from standard to custom and enter 1500 by 1500. This will give us a good size square for our logo, which can then be resized to fit with any social media and email favicon. It's much easier to reduce the file size of our logo at a later date, as increasing it can lead to distortion, which we want to avoid. Now we want to choose a shape from the top menu. Here we're going to Nature to choose the flower shape. We want to increase the size of the flower, so holding the Control key down and with our mouse we're going to click on one of the corner nodules and drag it to resize. I'm also going to change the size of my page to 50% using the zoom field found in the top menu bar. This allows me to see the full page I'm working on without having to scroll. Clicking back on the flower shape, we choose Format. Once again, our side control panel will change, giving us new options so we can change the colour of our flower. We right-click on the flower, which provides the option to duplicate. This second flower shape I'm going to change to white and add some drop shadow from the side control panel. Adding a little extra blur and reducing the offset and increasing the opacity will help our white flower stand out from the page. Now by clicking on the white flower we can drag it in line with the yellow flower. The automatic alignment guides will help our flowers centre with each other. By moving my cursor to one of the corner nodules and holding down the Control key or Window key on a Microsoft keyboard, we can rotate the shape. Right-clicking on this shape gives me the option to send the white flower to the back. Returning to the top menu bar, choosing a circle shape from the basic shape menu. Again, clicking on my cursor onto the corner nodule and holding down the Shift key, I can increase the size of the circle without distorting the shape. Not holding the Shift key while changing size would result in an oval or distorted circle shape, as the X and Y axis will move independently of each other. Choosing the colour of the flower centre and changing the colour of the top flower, you can see a daisy appear. I'm happy with this design, so I click on the background in the top corner and drag my cursor over all the shapes which make up our flower design. Then right click and choose Group from the menu. This will group all the layers together so that they no longer can be moved independently of each other. We now have a flower. Let's return to the top menu and clicking on text, the side control panel will once again change to give us options for the text and fonts. Similar to other softwares, we can now double click on the text we've entered and make changes like the font, the size, bold, all of the normal standard stuff, and by dragging the text to the location which best suits our logo, we can use the Control key with the nodule to rotate the text. By dragging the flower and text, we can now snap them into the center of our square slide, and now we have our completed logo. Moving on to intermediate level, we're now going to create a second daisy logo using the same basic flower shape but using a few more tools to create a slicker looking logo. We open a new slide and return to the top menu to once again choose the flower shape, but this time we're going to choose gradient fill, which will allow us to mix two colours for our flower, or advanced gradient fill, which will give us 3 or more colours to play with. We can move the colour swatches back and forth on the scale to create different effects. You can see here we're going to stick with the same yellow and oranges chosen for our previous logo, but we're going to add more depth to the flower by having 3 shades within the one flower. Playing with the slide scale on the side control panel provides a wide spectrum of options. Now that we have a good idea of the colours we want the flower to be, we're going to create our own flower by drawing a petal and using it to create a 14 petal flower. Going to the top menu bar and clicking on shape, we choose the pen icon. We use the flower already on our slide as a reference. By clicking at the base and the top and then back to the base, we have 2 straight lines on top of each other. But when we click in the middle of one of the lines and drag it to one side and do the same with the other, we now have an eye shape, and by clicking on the top nodule, we get a rounded effect to our shape, which is starting to resemble a petal. Using the side panel, we can choose the width and colour of our outline and then the advanced gradient fill to colour our petal. Once you're happy with the result, we begin creating more. To make this easier on the eye, I changed the colour of the template flower as this is only for reference. Right-clicking on the petal and choosing duplicate, we can increase our petals and gradually arrange them around the flower template. Remember to right-click on the corner nodule and you'll be able to rotate the petals. This template is purely to help create the flower. I'm just going to have to change that colour as it's too in your face. I just can't handle it. Once I have several petals, I delete the flower template and group 5 of the petals. Then I right click and choose duplicate, and then at the top menu bar I choose horizontal flip. I can now adjust this duplication to fit into my flower and create my daisy. Now to right click and group them and then choose a circle from the top menu bar from basic shapes. This will become the centre of our flower and we just need to change the colour. Now we right click on the flower and duplicate. Move the first flower and circle out of the way so that we can work on this second flower. Dragging our cursor over each of the petals in this flower, we can now change the colour using the side control panel. Playing around with the colours until we're happy. We can then group them and drag the original flower back into shot and snap it in place with the alignment guides. Clicking onto one of the nodules and holding down the shift key, we can now rotate the flower to create a double flower head. Dragging in the centre, we group each layer to create our flower. By right-clicking on the flower, we can choose to bring it to the front. Then choosing the pale yellow flower, we can adjust the colouring to create the effect we want. Once we're happy, we group all the layers together and we form our flower daisy. Returning to the previous logo, we can copy and paste the text onto our new logo design. And that's logo number 2 completed. We're now ready to create our third and final daisy logo, using many of the features we've just learnt by tweaking them to create a superior logo. Starting with a blank slide and a copy of the circle centre from our previous daisy logo, we snap it to the centre. Returning to the previous logo, we're also going to copy and paste one of the petals to our new slides. Using the corner nodule, we resize the petal to a slimmer version of itself. Now, using right click and duplicate, we can arrange petals around our center circle, but this time without a flower template as a guide. As before, once we have 7 petals, we group 5 and duplicate them. Then, using the top menu bar, we select horizontal flip and move the petals into alignment. Grouping all the layers together, we choose Advanced Gradient Fill and we choose a subtler colouring. Returning to the top menu bar, we choose a circle from Basic Shapes, adjusting the colour on the side control panel to suit our logo. Moving the circle to the top left corner, we now use the corner nodule to drag the circle to almost the entire size of our square slide. Adjusting its position so that it's centered using the alignment guides, we now right click and send the circle to the back. This in turn will bring our flower to the forefront so that we can reposition it by dragging it to the top right corner. Now, returning to the top menu bar, we choose Text, and from the side panel we select the font, size and colour of our choice. By making the first letters of the business name larger than the rest of the text, we create a more dramatic effect and add to the overall appearance of our logo. Using right click to duplicate, we can avoid selecting the font size and everything all over again. By double clicking into the duplicate text, we can overtype it. All we need to do now is position the text where we want it. We've now completed our third and final daisy logo. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and learnt many techniques which will help you create your own business logo. Our next video tutorial will be showing you how to create a cover photo for your website or social media platform using the techniques we've learnt in this tutorial.